Hello, and welcome to another math lesson with Professor Checo. Today I'm going to be focusing on our next section, 2.1, titled Functions. So let's go ahead and jump right in and take a look at it. So as you can see, slightly big question, 36 questions in this chapter. I'm going to click on the first question, and let's go to the textbook. Let's see what it is we need to really focus on. Functions. We introduced general notation of a function as it comprehends a correspondence between two sets. So then we restrict them. Let's see. We have sketching graphs, equations in two variables. Ax plus by is equal to c. A and b is not. That's our general form. And point by point plotting, sketch the graph. So we're going to do some sketching, creating tables, plotting points, and moving on. Alright, so let's see here with this one is not a function because it would not pass the vertical line test, but I'm guessing it's going to ask us just to graph it. Yeah, graph that, explore, do you think, blah, blah, blah. Definition of a function. Let's take a peek at what that says. To each person there corresponds an annual. Yep, function basically every input has one and only one output. It doesn't need to be in any specific order, but the problem is you cannot have one input have two outputs, so this is not a function. This is a function, this is a function, this is not a function. Function that corresponds between two. The first set is the domain, second set is range. Should be a lot of review for you guys. Function specified by equations. When we multiply, find the area. The function specified by equations. If an equation two variable, we get exactly one output, the value for the dependent variable, and each input. Moving on. Functions and equations, matched problems. This looks like some graphs. Vertical line test for a function, I mentioned that very early. So if you can draw a vertical line anywhere on a graph and if it intersects at 2 points, it would not be a function. So here if I'm drawing a vertical line, it touches at 2, not a function. This one would be a function because there's nowhere that I can really draw a vertical line to touch twice. Alright, moving on. Finding a domain. So to find a domain, you assume that x is the variable. Yep, and you just figure that out. Domain, boom. This would be our domain, our range, and the sample spaces of each, multiplying, plugging it in, evaluating functions, bunch of order of operations, finding the domain. When we get to specific questions, I'll explain domains. Here, this one's going to be a fraction, which means this cannot be equal to 0. This one's all totally fine. This one cannot be a square root, which means square roots cannot be negative. So that's really what you're going to have to see. See, here, x can't be 0, x got to be positive, and so forth. And moving on, function notation, f of x, plug it in f of a plus h, and so forth. Applications for the profit loss analyst, fixed cost, variable cost, revenue, break-even points, profit, price demand, cost function, price demand. We may need these functions, but I'm going to typically just view an example to get them. So our cost function is a plus bx, which looks like it's linear. Price demand is that, linear. Revenue function, linear. Profit function. Okay. So if we need those, we know exactly where to come and get them. Price demand revenue, just an example, plugging in. Cool. Nothing too intimidating. Graph it. We're obviously going to use Desmos from the last lesson for our graphs, and that is the end. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and take a peek. Use the point-by-point plotting sketch of the graph of the equation. So here, I know that my y-intercept is 5 and my slope is 1. So if I were to do this, I would start at 5, 0, 5, looking at this kind of corner to see where my points are, and then I need to go up 1 to the right 1, and that'll be 1, 6. Save, check answer, done. Here, you're going to have x is equal to y squared. Let's see if they have, oh, they do. So, what's the easiest way to go about this? Probably just to take a peek first. If we have x equals y squared, this is not a function, but it is squared plus 2, right? It was like that. So it's going to be a parabola on its side. It's not a function because it fails the vertical line test, but it is an equation. So now that I have that, I'm just going to go ahead and graph that. You can see the point 0, 2, 0, and then what's this one? This one is 6, 6, 2. So there are my 2 points. I think it was 2, 0, and 6, 2. All right, cool. All right, here, same exact thing. Y equals negative 3x squared. You're going to graph that. Use Desmos if you need help. This is a parabola. Let me just see the tool. I'm going to go, this one. 3-point quadratic. Well, we know that it's going to be 0, 0. I know when I plug in 1, I'm going to get 1, negative 3. Oh, that is so small. 1, negative 3. And then I'm also going to get negative 1, negative 3. And that should work. Oh, look. Yeah, cool. Check answer. Nice. Moving on. Same exact thing for this one. This is just using the tool. This is actually x to the third, so same thing. You're going to use this one and figure out the points. So 1, 2, boom, boom, and then you could graph it. 1, 2, 3. Nope, yeah, okay. I'm moving on. Indicate if the following function is a. So is this a function? Because one input has 2 outputs, it's not. It does not specify the function because the element in the domain does not correspond to one and only one. Maybe it's this one, or the table does not specify a function because each element in the domain corresponds to one and only one. Oh no, because it does not. A. All right, let's take a look at 6. Very similar question. Very similar question. Here, let's take a look at this bigger. Is this a function? Because it passes the vertical line test, it would be. This one, because it fails the vertical lines test, where circles fail, it would not. This is not a function, it's a circle. This is a horizontal line. Horizontal line does pass the vertical line test. The equation here, so what do they want? The equation plus function of independent y determine whether the function is linear. Oh, negative 3x plus 3/4. I mean, this is pretty linear. This is mx plus b, where m is equal to negative 3 and b is equal to 3/4. Cool. Moving on. This equation is also going to be linear. This one's going to also be linear. This one's going to be linear. Another quadratic. So what does it say? First, by plotting to determine the shape of the graph. Nothing really here to see. This is a quadratic that has been shifted down 3 units and up 1 to the right 1, up 3 to the right there. Oh, if you guys ever feel like you need something here from Desmos and you want to get some points to plot, if you just hit, there's a way to create a table. Hold on. How do I create a table? There is a way to create a table. There is a way to create a table. Duplicate, no, done. I don't remember. How do I get this? There was a way to make this into a table. More options. Grid arrows, boom, boom, boom. I don't see anything. I forgot how to turn this into a table. Done. Nope. Let me see. Y equals x squared plus 5. If I do that, and then if I go to settings, see, it's able to create a table when it's a function. We can make a table when it's a function, not when it's not. Got it. Understood. Thank you, Desmos. So you can just graph that. It'll give you the points. Use the following graph of the function to determine the y to the nearest integer for y equals f of 4. So what this is asking for is when f of 4, so what is the x value? When the x value is 4, what is the y value? So if I go to my graph, I go to positive 1, 2, 3, 4, and it looks like it's negative 4. It looks to see like it's negative 4 because when I follow it, that's where it went to, negative 4, hit enter, beautiful, no problem. So here, f of x is equal to 2. So now it's asking when is the y value equal to 2? For what x value is y equal to 2? So when you blow this up, you're going to go to 2 and try to figure out what that point is. Whoa. Mine looks like it's going to be like 2 point something, a decimal, right? f of x is equal to 2? It's that point right there. X is equal to like 2.2? I don't know. Use the graph when f of x is equal to 2. Could I just say 2? Is that enough? Oh, okay. That was tricky. I mean, is this one also just 2? Okay, this is kind of... Alright, whatever. So here, when is the y equal to 0? So I'm going to blow this up. There should be 3 locations, -5, -7, 0, and 3. So you would just do the numbers. So with a comma, -7, 5, no, 0, and 3. I put in the extra 5. Yep, it's just a location of where it hits it. Find the domain of this function. Very simply, these are all exponential function, positive exponents. So this is not totally fine. If you ever want to graph it, you can see that there's no number here that's ever going to cause a problem. So it's going to be all real numbers. Here there's a problem because you cannot have a fraction with a denominator equal to 0. So what makes this equal to 0? -1. So every other number is going to work except negative 1. There we go. Now square roots cannot be equal to negative numbers. So if you think about what would make this equal to a negative number, well, if I plugged in 3, 2 minus 3 is -1. So it needs, but if I do 2 minus 2, that gives me 0. So it's really any number bigger than 2. So the way that I'm going to write that is strictly parentheses from 2 towards infinity. No, I'm sorry, I'm the wrong way. It does not work, which means it's from negative infinity all the way up to 2. To interval notation. Oh, I'm sorry. 2 does work because if you plug in 2, it gives you the square root of 0, and the square root of 0 is just 0. So it can be equal to 0. There we go. Now here, if it cannot be equal to 0 because it's a fraction, and it cannot be negative. So what would make this negative? Obviously, if x was bigger than 7. So I'm going to say that it is all numbers less than 7. So it's going to be parentheses negative infinity. Oh, I did a double. All the way, I'm sorry, 8. 8. But now it cannot be equal to 8 because 8 minus 8 is 0. And even though the square root is satisfied, it can't be into a fraction. So that one's good. That should have worked. Negative infinity, comma, 8 parentheses. Because if it's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that would work. Why did this not work? 8 parentheses. In which this does not exist. You know what? If they accept this, if they're looking for this, this is so wrong, it's not even funny. Oh, you want it as an inequality. Oh, that's easy then. So then here it's just x less than 5. That's easy. Alright, moving on. Does the equation specify a function with an independent variable? So this is a general form. Ax plus by is equal to c. So the equation satisfies function with the domain of this function is interval notation is going to be all real numbers. So from negative infinity, comma, infinity. Oh, shoot, what did I just do? Delete. Where's my infinity? Infinity. That's how you do all real numbers from negative infinity to positive infinity. Determine, so this is a circle. No, so it's not a function. Does the equation with does the equation specify a function with independent variable x? Based on your equation, provide either the domain of the function or a value to x where there corresponds more than one value. Counterexample is 10. The value I didn't get that question. Determine if the equation specifies a function with independent variable x. So does it have an independent variable x? Yes. I don't remember what I did now. Does it have an independent value x? No. The counterexample is 0. Okay, number 27, whatever. Find and simplify the expression. So now if you take this 5x, you substitute it into there, and that would give you 25x squared. And then we would just do the minus 5 would come along because nothing happened there. And you're just going to simplify and type it in. Alright, so now same exact thing. For 5, you're going to plug that into squared, which is going to be 25 minus 6, and then plus h, where you have to plug in h into there, and you'll get an equation. So it should be something along the lines of 25 minus 6 is 19. So it's going to be 19 plus h squared, and then what? Minus 6. So then that should be down to 13. Yeah. Same exact thing here. Alright, so now you guys should know how to FOIL. This is pre-calc, but we really should know how to FOIL, because when they plug in the 4 plus h, you're going to have to do 4 plus h times 4 plus h, and then that's when you're going to get the h squared plus 8h plus 16 minus 3. So I'm hoping we're able to expand that. I hope I didn't lose any of you guys from there. And then you just combine like terms and then you get it. So yeah, something like this would be 49 plus 14h plus h squared, and then minus 2, so 47 minus 2 is just 45. 49 minus 2 is 47. What did I just do? Don't know, but I got it right. Alright, so here you're going to be plugging that into that, that into that, and then that into that, and dividing. I'm going to go to the view an example just because there's a lot of steps here. So obviously if you're just plugging in x plus h anywhere you see that, you just distribute it out and you get your answer. Then when you're going to plug in the x plus h, pretty straightforward, gets distributed, plug it in and cleaned up. And then the last one, you're just basically kind of combining them and then putting it over h and then simplifying it so that you get one simple answer. So again, plugging in the first part, the second part, dividing it by h, and then cleaning it up and seeing what you're left with. I mean here, oh, I have to type this all in. I'm sorry. Got it. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, 32. Looks like it's very similar. The only difference here is now that we have a x squared, you will, on the third step, part C, it would just be a little bit confusing because you're going to want to reorganize it. So the first part easy, second part easy because you're just distributing. The third part is when you get it like this, distribute everything out, and you'll realize that if you did it correct, all your x terms, any term without an h will get canceled out. This way, the last step you do is you divide everything by h, and then pretty straightforward. Perimeter is 420 centimeters. Express a as length. Express area as a function of length. 420 divided by L. Express area as a function. The perimeter of a rectangle is 420 centimeters. The perimeter. Oh, the perimeter, which is 2L plus 2H. So express the area as a function of the length. So then it's as a function of the length. So it's 420 minus 2H. Minus 2L, and then if I take all of that and divide it by 2, and then this should be times, that's what the height is equal to, and if I multiply that by the length, I should get the area. No, I did a lot of that in my head. How do I explain that? Let me see if you an example. Yeah, so perimeter is 2 times L plus W, and then if you plug in the perimeter that you know, divided by 2, and then substitute for the width, you know that, then you could plug that into the area, and then it's just that, and then you distribute, and boom. Alright, so here the domain, it should be that all sets of real numbers such that L is between, well, it can't be between 0, because then you're going to have a piece of paper. I'm going to say between 0 and 210. Yeah, you can't be the extremes, because then it's just a flat piece of paper. Company, what would these points look like? So 1000 to 25, it looks like it's going down. So I start at 1000 to 25, and it looks like it's going down. Which regression would be it? I'm going to say it's probably going to be B. B looks like it goes through all of them. That was just all based on the regression. What will be the estimated price? What will be the estimated price per computer? Price demand for 12,000. I would plug it into that, right? So let's take this. Let's put this over here. Let's take this. Put this over here. And let's do, what's my price demand? 12,000. So if my equation is $2,000 minus 40, and it should be times 12, gives me 1520. 1520 because it says X is in thousands of computers. Cool. What would the price demand be for 20,000 computers? That would be change it from 12 to 20, and it should be $1,200. Cool. Next question. Use the given price demand function to answer the point. Using the price function, write a revenue. Revenue is how much money you make, which is the price that you sold things for. So that would be 92 minus 3x times how many you sold, which should be x. Then the domain of your function is going to be a linear function, so it should be from 1 to 25. Interval notation from hard bracket 1 comma 25. Oh, I messed it up. That one. 1 comma 25. Not point, comma 25. There we go, because that's based on that function. Yeah, now you just gotta plug it in and do it, right? So, what's my function? 92 minus 3 times, and what's the first one gonna be? 5. So this one should be 77. 77, 66, 55, 44, 30. That's wrong, but it's fine. I'm gonna get the first one right, and that's all I care about. I was totally wrong. Oh, this is millions, and I did everything in 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm on a different equal. Revenue. Oh, this is revenue, not price. I used the wrong equation. Times x, and then I could do one of these, and I could put an x right there, and then I could go here. I can go to settings, I can go to table, and then now the real cool part is I can change all this. So if I just go here and type in 5, shoot, I did it in the wrong one. Should have been here, 5, 383, 385. And then if I did the next one, which would have been 10, 620, 620. So there you go, we got it from the table. What does this graph look like? Once you guys would have done that, it would have plotted on there, but this is going up, 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 down, down. So kind of like that. Okay, the percentage S of seats in the House Representative won by Democrats and the percentage of V Democrats with an expressive function is here. Express V as a function of S and find the percentage V as a function of S. So that's going to be minus 2S divided by 5. So 1.4 fraction, go back up to my numerator, plus 2S divided by 5. It is not in the correct form. Be sure to read it. What do you want? Type your answer. 1.4. Oh, you don't like that? Dang, because I have a fraction and a decimal. What's 1. Oh, okay, that's just simplify. I don't know what 1.4 is divided by 5, but that would be, that's it. Final check. There you go. Calculators. All good. Democrats to win 51% of the seats. You would just plug in 51 into there, right? So that would be, let's take a quick peek. If I do 51 or 0.51 minus 0.28 gives me 0.23, and 0.23 divided by 0.4 gives me 57. 57.5. Watch it be 58. Oh no, 48.5. Did I find the opposite? Find expressive V as a function of S to find the percentage of votes required for Democrats to win 51%. So, where did I mess up? Did that on the next part. So now using 0.51, put S to 0.51. Oh, and then just work it. I thought I did that. No, literally is what I thought I did. Oh no, I plugged it in. I plugged it into the end. Okay. Easy enough. So now for this one, express S. So now this is going to be, I don't know, whatever 1.4 is. 1.4 divided by 5. 1.4 divided by 5 is 0.28. 0.28, and then that's going to be plus 2 over 5, which is 0.4. 0.4 V. I think I did the same exact thing in my head. Did that, and then this would be 2.5 times parentheses 0.51. Close that, and then minus 0.7, and that would be 0.57575. I messed up. Gotta put a decimal right there. Nice work. Got it. And that was the last question. Awesome. Cool. So that took me 30 minutes to do. Kind of skipped a few of them just because they seem so self-explanatory. But welcome to functions. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Good luck.